We're going to start off 1.2 with talking about horizontal and vertical translations. Remember, for the transformations that we covered, translations move things from left to right, which is the horizontal translation, or they move them up and down, which is the vertical translation. With horizontal translations, if you're given an equation or have to write the equation, a horizontal translation is always inside parentheses or absolute value bars, but grouped with x, okay? And it's always the opposite of what it says. So if it says minus 4, well, x is positive going to the, x is negative going to the left, but we do the opposite, and we're actually going to go to the right. So because the equation is x minus h, so when you subtract a negative, so you're going minus 4, it actually makes that a plus 4. So I know that was kind of confusing, but you go to the right when h is greater than 1, you go left when h is less than 1, but that's ignoring the minus in there, okay? So because of that minus subtraction symbol, when you just see like x plus 4, you actually do the opposite. We'll go negative 4, okay? Because that was minus a negative to make that a plus 4. And then with vertical translations, it's not grouped with x. It's a number just tacked on to the end of the equation, like a plus some number or minus some number. And if it's minus, y goes negative going down. So if it's a minus 2, you're going to take the whole figure and you're going to slide it down 2. If it's a plus 2, you'll slide it up 2, okay? So let's give that a try on a few of these. So this is going to start with an equation, and it wants us to then do these translations to it. So if I have this this function, f of x equals 4x minus 4, and this wants us to write a function g of x, okay? Oops. Okay, we want to translate 5 units up. So remember, up and down is just adding numbers onto the end. So if I want to go up 5, that means a positive 5, and I'm going to add that to the 4, and so I end up getting a 4x plus 1. So my function looks like that. So you take the equation, it's because this is not transforming the parent function. So you transform the function you were given and you do whatever transformation it's asking. Okay, so for b here, it says we're going to write function h, and it's going to be translated 1 unit to the right. So remember, left and right is grouped in with x, and so we will put a parenthesis since it's going to be inside with x. Well, nothing is inside with x right now, so I just am going to leave my 4. I'm going to put my x in there, and right is when x is positive, so I'm going to actually write minus 1 because h is 1, but the equation is x minus h. And then I still have that minus 4 left on the end of my original function. So that is what my function became. So if we come down to number 2 here, we're now going to deal with an absolute value function. And it wants us to write a function g whose graph is a translation 3 units down. Okay, so down, y is negative going down, so it's a minus. So it's minus 3. And this is a function g, it says. So nothing else in the equation changed, so I leave that the same, but now it became a minus 6. And then for b, we're going to write a function h. And this says 2 units to the left. So inside, if I write this equation out again, so it's left and right is grouped with x. So I know I'm going to do something to this number right here. And left is taking away from just this number, minus 2. So you leave the x minus there. So I have x minus, but now it's 4 minus 2 is 2. Okay, Now that can be kind of confusing because remember it's x minus h. So I'm just taking the h. I'm kind of ignoring that minus sign there, and I subtract the 2 from it. But if it helps, if I erase this here, sorry. You had x minus 4 minus 3. You can also look at it as it's grouped with x, so it's going to be the opposite of what it says. And so it's 2 units to the left. So instead of minus 2, I'll add 2. If you do the opposite, then you can include the symbol as part of it. All right, so now in the practice, I want you to do numbers 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then move on to the next lesson.